Well, that may have just been the best week ever. And look, it's a holiday weekend. We're stepping into one of the best weekends ever. Happy Friday, America. I'm off today and Monday. So that's four, baby. Quattro. What's up? My name is Arthur Rawe. Happy to be bringing in this Happy Friday, America episode. And I'm sitting here with the steady Eddie, Kevin, Real Dill, Pickstone.
Gotta love me some pickles. We're gonna have some pickles this weekend. I'm gonna do pickle wings. We're gonna have dill pickles. It's a pickle flavor type of weekend, Art. It's gonna be fantastic. Biggest weekend in motorsports. More to come on that in the back half of the show. What do we got today in history for May 23rd?
Man, all I gotta say before we jump into this, you've been the most picklicious person I've ever met, and you've taken the connoisseur of pickling to new heights.
It's places I never thought I'd be.
To new heights, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay. Today in history, we got some good ones from May 23rd. First one that I found here that perked up my eyebrows a little bit was 1785. Benjamin Franklin announces his invention of the bifocals. We all know, nearsighted, farsighted. It has both in it. And that was in 1785. Ben Frank, he must have had some eye issues himself if he's needing to create this stuff.
I wouldn't have guessed that came out that early in time.
It was that early in time. 1788, South Carolina becomes the 8th state to ratify the U.S. Constitution.
Love it.
Salute to that. 1813. This one's a big one, especially my wife is from Venezuela. And in 1813, South American independence leader Simon Bolivar enters Merida, leading the invasion of Venezuela, and is proclaimed El Libertador. That's the Liberator in Espanol. But there's all these documentaries on Simon and like how he brought Guatemala, Colombia, Venezuela. They all have very similar flags because at one point he liberated all those countries from Spain. So a lot of cool history with that guy. And then moving into a little bit more modern, a little bit more gangsta. In 1934, outlaws Bonnie and Clyde are killed by police in an ambush near Salis, Louisiana. And that is today in history.
Juicy day in history, of course. I was wondering if there's any, like Memorial Day related history stuff that came up because sometimes it falls on different, times of the month depending on where that last Monday lands. But that's okay. It's still a Memorial Day themed weekend, and we're kicking it off here with my lead article. Going to the kindergarten, Art.
Okay.
Taking it down to the kindergartners over here. Greater Johnson School District in Pennsylvania. Kindergartner brought alcohol-infused Jell-O shots and shared them with the class.
The kid did?
Yeah. So obviously the mother made him. Father, somebody at the house had a big old plate of Jell-O. He's like, "Oh, Jell-O, this is cool." Brought him all to school. Shared them with his mates and his classmates.
Oh.
So obviously, as you can imagine, kindergarten's what, 5 years old, 6 years old?
So I believe.
We're dealing with small humans that are developing and can't really handle alcohol. Most of these are made with vodka, sometimes 100 proof. We're talking high alcohol here. And so these kids got fucked up.
Like the whole class of kindergartners.
The kids that partook in the Jell-O shots were falling over. They were vomiting. They had to go to the school nurse. They transported some of them to a local hospital for further evaluation because, when you're that age, you can't be intoxicated with alcohol like that.
How many shots did they have?
Well, I don't have the exact number.
Is one too much for a kindergartner?
I feel like one is equal to a shot of vodka. So you give a kindergartner a shot of vodka, you give a shot of vodka to a grown adult, they start to act different.
Yeah, but do you think a kindergartner would need to be taken to a hospital for one shot of vodka?
It depends how fucked up he got. Maybe he had a horrible reaction to it, started throwing up. Like, we got to get these kids out of here. They didn't know what else was in it. Maybe they were laced with other shit.
Yeah, that's true. They're in this discovery phase.
Yeah, so they did it as a precautionary measure. Obviously, the incident is further under investigation. Here's the thing. This is the second time in a month. Previously, there was a Texas mother that was arrested for unknowingly distributing alcoholic Jell-O shots to her daughter's 5th grade Christmas party, resulting in the same thing. Kids were falling over, throwing up, 5th graders. Because the 5th graders probably had a couple few. Kindergartners, they had one and done. So that's why we're kicking it off. School district out in Pennsylvania, this kindergarten class was getting wasted.
Wow. Unintentionally. But that's a good Happy Friday article, man. And alcohol. We could have a whole episode just talking about all of that.
DCPC is a good place to listen to that.
But here's the thing. If you're an adult, like, just try to keep track of your stuff. Like, wouldn't you think the parents would know that they put liquor into the Jell-O shots and then, like, didn't they pack the lunch for the kid or, like, know that they were going to bring them to school? Like, I don't understand.
We don't have all the details of the home life.
Yeah, maybe the kid was just like, he just saw them in the freezer. Oh, I'm going to take this to class and didn't tell his parents and then hopped on the bus.
When I was in kindergarten, if I saw Jell-O,
yeah,
I'd be wanting to eat it.
Yeah, you're eating.
You don't know that it's infused with alcohol.
Yeah.
You're kindergarten.
How are you going to know?
Yeah, I mean, you're still seeing like a dog for the first time. You think everything's awesome. Why wouldn't you eat the fucking Jell-O out of a little cup?
Yeah, it looks delicious.
Yeah.
Well, we can all do better as human beings, and those parents out in Pennsylvania, hopefully
that's a fail.
Y'all are, that's a fail. That's a big fail.
They're up for the dumbasses of the week.
Up for it. We got some good. I got some dumbasses of the week for sure. So first though, I want to jump into the hero of the week, and this was a really cool story that I found on the Good News Network, one of my favorite sites for Happy Friday, and hero gamer thwarts attack on California school by reporting teens discussing bombing intentions online. So, as we all know, video games and violent video games, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, have all had this stigma that it's going to create more violence and this and that. Okay. But in this case, it's actually just the opposite. Somebody who was playing violent games actually prevented real violent things from happening in real life. And they stayed anonymous, so we don't know who this person is that reported this. But in Tehama County, California, police uncovered a school attack plot involving two teens. They were 14 and 15. They got a warrant for the teens' house. They went in there. They found improvised explosive devices, firearms. They found a manifesto detailing a plan to kill over 100 people at Evergreen Middle School, and also a photo of them dressed like the Columbine shooters. That I'm from Colorado. I was in 6th grade. I remember that day when the shootings were happening, and like, it was a weird, scary vibe. And so I don't understand why people are like trying to replicate that.
Yeah, that's like 20 minutes from here.
So they shared that photo, and we're also talking about some of this stuff in like a gaming chat. I don't know which one.
Like a Discord, you think?
Yeah, like a Discord, or like maybe like you're in the game lobby and it's just the audio's connected.
Okay.
So a gamer also received these disturbing photos and immediately reported it to authorities. And then based on his tips, the Tehama County Major Crime Unit did the warrant on May 11th. So he's not a hero this week, but definitely a May hero. And the sheriff had previously pulled their kid out of the school because they were worried about it and concerned about this. They're back into the school. So the main point here is, if you see something, say something. And basically this gamer potentially prevented a bad, tragic event from happening at this Evergreen school, man. So hero of the week, listening and like acting immediately. We could all hear a lot of things. We can all tell with our intuition if it seems more legit or not. So I wanted to highlight this one. I know it's not really a Happy Friday thing. Well, it's not happy, but it is a good thing that happened.
It kind of is happy, because that could have been a disaster if it wasn't handled properly. Right. So I think there's a couple of things to take out of it. Like you said, you highlighted the fact that video games get a bad rap and increase violence. But in a lot of cases, it can teach you, I would say hand-eye coordination, decision making, how to analyze a situation, maybe pick up on a dangerous situation like this. So, I think that's worthy of a couple nods to the video game community.
Yeah, for sure. And, call it out. We got to hold people accountable. And it's not cool to be threatening innocent life like
absolutely
that.
Not.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
Absolutely not. So fortunately, nobody was injured, and they were able to defuse the situation.
Yeah.
Well, good story there. All right, let's go. Record Breaker Rush is back in the mix this week. This is a fun one. We had chatted with him on Discussion Combustion back in November. So for folks that have heard us talk about Record Breaker Rush, you can go watch our episode with him on Discussion Combustion. Really cool guy. And one of the things that he told us about was like the low-hanging fruit records. Mm-hmm. So here he goes again. So in 2024, Art, which I think we covered this a year ago, the same one, well, he beat it again.
Okay.
So the idea of it...
Did somebody take it from him?
No, he decided to go after his own record again.
Oh, really?
It took him 5 years of attempts to set this record. So from 2019 to 2024, he was working on it, and he's trying to move water between two containers with his hands. Containers can't move. He has to use his hands to distribute the water back and forth, 30 seconds. He sets the record with 112.4 ounces of water in 2024 in 30 seconds. So when you think about that, there's 128 ounces in a gallon, so a little less than a gallon. He transfers in 30 seconds. Now, you could use like a cupping technique. Like you're trying to move this water between these containers. And Guinness is watching. They can't slide. He can't touch the containers. They're super super technical on these rules. So record breaker Rush goes, I'm gonna slam it. So he comes in this year, obliterates that record with 172.5 ounces, which equates to 1.3 gallons of water. So he blew that away by almost another quarter gallon, or I guess that'd be a third of a gallon more than what he did a year ago. So that's kind of that repetition is the mother's skill, right? He kind of learned the techniques and how he could smash it, bring more water in this in 30 seconds. I attempted the toilet paper one a couple weeks ago, the last time I covered it. Sounded easy, complete disaster. I don't know if you still have the video, but I took a video of it. It's hilarious.
What happened to your version of the video?
It got deleted. I clean up my phone so often.
I mean, I think I have it in the text thread.
So we might have to.
It's in the text.
That might have to make an appearance at some point. But in any case, not to take away from David Rush, he's doing it again. Record breaker Rush, slamming it, moving water, getting it done.
I wonder, because you got this time limit, but I wonder, like, with the drippings, like, if he's trying to, like, if he realized that, like, maybe if he goes higher, then it causes more of the drip, so he's getting some of the runoff and drip into it if he goes higher. I don't know what he did. All I know is if you want to beat Rush on this record, you better have some big hands.
You're going to have some big hands and good coordination, right?
Yes.
Because there's a lot that goes into these records.
For sure, for sure. I love the random records, and, of course, we got the Would You Rather right here. But first, we're going to cover the results from last week's Would You Rather, which was, let's say that you win the lottery. Are you going anonymous, or are you going to share with everybody that you have won the lottery? We both went anonymous, Kev. How did America go?
Well, America said they're going to keep it to themselves, 100%.
Nice. 100%.
Yeah, they went unanimous, which is unusual. Usually we have a 50-50 or, a little bit of a split between you and I, but they're keeping it to themselves on the lottery. I think that was a good one. That was a decent would you rather.
Yeah.
Didn't really have to overthink it too much, but there was a lot of variables to keeping it to yourself or letting the world know. America said, you know what? It's between you, me, and the fence post.
Yeah, let's keep it anonymous, but there will be signs. Like the meme goes, there will be signs.
Yes.
So this week's Would You Rather, I'm tying it into this long holiday weekend. So it's a long holiday weekend. Would you rather have it super easy going with no plans? Or would you rather be kept pretty busy the entire time, like you're just booked for the whole weekend, but you're doing epic stuff? So long holiday weekend, you're either doing epic stuff all weekend or you have zero plans. Which one are you taking?
Well, I've definitely had both. Because there's a lot to do on Memorial Day weekend. You got cookouts, big racing weekend, of course. I'll get into that a little bit later. So I've had both. Would I rather? Man, I think I would. That's a tough one because there's so much cool shit to do on Memorial Day weekend where you could just be slam jammed the whole weekend with fun shit.
Well, isn't that like always around? Like, couldn't you just have fun any weekend?
Well, sure, but there's an energy to Memorial Day weekend with like it being kind of the first big weekend of the summer. The pools are opening up. We're in full fucking race mode. If you're a race fan, like it's hot dogs and hamburgers. Like it's on.
Yeah,
it's full on American summertime. So. Would I rather? I think I'm going to go ahead and have an easygoing weekend if I had to choose.
Okay.
Because I've been fortunate enough to do so many things. But hey,
no plans.
Well, I mean, you can still have an easygoing with no plans and do things.
No, but that's in the Would You Rather. You have a super easygoing weekend with no plans. But then things could still happen.
Yeah, things could still happen. Yeah, I'll stick with it. I'll go with the super easy weekend.
Can I go halfway and like
no?
And like kind of
I was just thinking about doing that, and I'm like, you can't do that.
I can't go halfway on it. No. Okay.
No, well, then it's not a would you rather. It's like I'll have a little bit of both.
Who doesn't want to try both desserts?
It's your would you rather.
I know. I was asking you. Can I break the rules? No, you can't break the rules.
No,
but you can make the rules, and I'm making rules to have no plans. No plans, but look. I'm up to doing something. I might have zero plans, but if something comes up, I might do it because there's nothing. And really with this, would you rather, it depends how your month's been. It depends how your week's been. Sometimes you just don't want to do anything. And then sometimes you're itching to get out and be busy. So how are you feeling this weekend, America? Would you rather have no plans for Memorial Day weekend? or have it fully booked? Let us know in the comments or over there on X.
Twitter X, that's right. I think America's probably going to say they want the chill weekend.
You think so?
Yeah, but I've been wrong about America for the past couple Would You Rather, so I wouldn't take that too seriously.
Hey, well, what about it? What about Whataburger?
All right, so this is a ridiculous story. Also, let's see here. Demiri Wilson, also in my potential dumbass of the week, just because how ridiculous this article is. So let me give you some backstory. In 2023, he went to Sonic and sued them. This lawsuit.
Oh, he's a chronic sewer.
He's a chronic sewer.
Connoisseur.
He's a chronic litigator.
Okay.
Okay, he's getting out that chronic litigation. You know what I mean? Okay. So in 2023, he goes to Sonic and sues them over onions. Okay. Onions were in his meal. He asked for no onions. He says he's just so anti-onion that he sued the motherfuckers. This thing got thrown out. Okay. So now fast forward to current times. He currently has a $1 million litigation lawsuit against Whataburger for the same thing, saying that the onions that were on there triggered an allergic reaction that required medical treatment. While that might be true, I don't know how much proof can really go into that. Can people really be that allergic to onions? I don't know. Maybe you can have anaphylactic shock.
Maybe.
Don't know. But Whataburger, I think, is in a safe place because there's always a disclaimer of, these items are prepared in a facility that have onions and shellfish. And if you are allergy prone, be sure you're aware that this facility also handles some of these things that could trigger an allergic reaction. So $1 million lawsuits on there. We haven't heard any litigation before a judge. But, yep, Demry Wilson, Texas man, is going after the mega chain Whataburger.
Yeah, he's definitely a dumbass because... Like, if you ordered without onions and then you're so worried about onions being on your burger all the fucking time.
You don't even look?
Yeah. Like, wait, you didn't look before you bit into it?
Right.
This dude's full of shit.
He's looking for a quick he's looking for a quick paycheck. He's like, I didn't want onions. I'm gonna sue you. Like a fucking toddler.
No.
Maybe he had too many Jell-O shots with the kindergartners.
Oh, dude, no. He doesn't. This guy's not gonna win.
He's not going to win.
And he's a serial
Once the judge sees that he did this with Sonic 2 years ago,
yeah,
he's going to be like, you already tried this with another chain and you lost.
Well, and unless, he actually did have to go to the hospital, and unless the doctors have a report stating that he does specifically have,
but here's the thing.
But you still have the disclosure.
You have a disclosure, and you can speak from experience. You got food poisoning on your birthday, and the establishment was like, we can't prove that.
Yeah.
So how can you prove?
Like no one else is called in with
this situation? Like, is there a report at the hospital being like, yeah, the onions triggered him to have, fucking arrhythmia of the heart or some shit? Don't know. But I think our initial instincts were correct that this guy is a chronic sewer and he's a dumbass.
Definitely a dumbass. People trying to hit the easy button to have it made in life and not have to worry about money anymore by taking advantage of corporations. It's stupid.
Agreed.
And this goes in perfectly to this next article. Adults are sharing the I can't believe I had to explain this to another adult. They're sharing some of these stories on Reddit. I grabbed my favorite 4 out of this article. So I'm going to go over a couple stories here where adults had to explain things to another adult.
Okay.
And I'll do my best not to butcher any of this reading. So I had to explain to a 20-year-old that she could be pregnant even without having an orgasm. She kept going on and on about how her period was late and how she felt weird, but she wasn't sure she could possibly be pregnant because she had not finished the night. She didn't orgasm. And so she was very shocked about it. And they spoke to her about it. I'm losing it here. I haven't spoke to her in about 12 years, but I see her and her kid around sometimes. Okay, so she did have the kid. So yes, you can get pregnant, ladies, even if you don't orgasm.
Okay, so just to get me up to speed here, this article is about what? This is a true story about people explaining things to other people?
Yes.
Okay.
That are dumbasses.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were trying to explain to the viewers that this is a possibility or if this was somebody else saying to somebody else.
No, this was the things adults...
I thought maybe you were doing something clever there.
This is something adults taught other adults.
Okay.
Okay?
So that's example number 1.
Okay, so that was one. Okay, so this is another story now. I was working at a publishing firm the fax was coming in. The guy was standing behind the office manager, waiting for the fax to complete. His eyes are idle. He looks over at the manager's computer and he sees the screen and the accounting mailing programs. And she was manually typing the addresses from the accounting program into the mailing ones. And he asked her, why don't you just copy paste and do it that way? And she looked at him baffled. And she had been an office manager for this publishing firm for over 10 years, and she didn't know about the copy paste feature that is on computers. And she works out of hundreds of boxes of books every single day and was manually typing them into another one.
Oh,
for over 10 years.
You know how much time that just saved?
Didn't know what copy paste was.
And you can even use a hotkey. You don't even have to highlight it and right click it. You can go hotkey, baby.
So there's a lot of cool hotkeys on keyboards. Yes,
Control Z is my favorite.
Yes, you can. It is.
You taught me that one.
I did. So yes, you can get pregnant without having an orgasm, and there's hotkeys on keyboards.
We're really setting the bar low for some of these folks.
Okay. All right. Here's the next one. There's been an ungodly amount of times where I've had to tell people that no, those are not ticks on your cat or dog's stomach. They are nipples. Also, the number of men who reply, but he's a boy. Like, dude, you also have nipples. Okay? So
where the hell did you find this?
It's a Reddit thing on Buzzsprout or BuzzFeed did it on Reddit. Okay. So yeah, animals have nipples just like humans do. Okay.
Thank you.
And then this last one here, I had to explain to a friend that the wind is not created by tree leaves vigorously rustling together. Explaining that without showing outright judgment on my face was damn near impossible. And then so yes, the wind does not come from tree leaves.
No.
It comes from the oceans.
It does not.
It actually comes from temperature differences.
Atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, you do it. You're way better at this one.
Well, I mean, I studied weather for many years, but there's a couple of factors that go into it. Obviously, barometric pressure, high, low pressure, occluded fronts, cold fronts, warm fronts. Some of the things that the baby Kevin was talking about. I don't know if you saw that on the AI thing.
I did.
Cold fronts, warm fronts. That's what causes most of it. You have a low pressure system come in. That's typically going to bring the jet stream down.
Okay.
It's going to bring the winds up. You know, if you have a tornadic activity or something like that, obviously that's going to be pretty windy.
But I think that the oceans do actually play a role because there's ocean currents.
Right. They do not.
And so I'm gonna disagree.
I already came prepared.
That it does.
I already came prepared.
I think that it does create some of the wind.
It does not. No, it does not.
And like the waves also.
Nope.
You've never sat on a beach and like felt
a sea breeze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the it's like it's blowing.
So I came prepared for this one. I could pull it up for you if you'd like. I screenshotted it here just so I could have my couple quick things ready to go for this. So we're going to start with wind is the primary driver in formation of waves in the water, bodies and oceans and lakes. The friction between the wind and surface causes the energy to transfer and the water to move and form waves. Now, I then followed up and asked AI that exact question. Can waves create wind? No, waves do not cause wind.
Okay, and the earth is also flat, Kev.
It isn't, though.
I'm messing with you.
It isn't.
There's a bunch of people out there that don't know basic things in life, and it was a fun article, and I knew we could get into a little debate there. But one thing that is definitely up is something that you have a little bit of investments in, and you're excited about that, as you should be.
Anyone that's been following me since I got into podcasting in 2019, I've been talking about this topic of cryptocurrency, and a lot of people still don't even know what it is, and that's okay because you don't have to be pro crypto to be pro money. And that's what I tell people. Like, well, I don't know what people are using it for. It doesn't matter what they're using it for. You can make an investment and you can ride those percentage gains. And that's what I did when I purchased it in 2019. So we're recording this a little bit before Friday the 23rd. But as we sit, just a couple hours ago, we hit an all-time high with Bitcoin at $109,700 price per Bitcoin. Right? Massive. That's a massive gain.
It's a big coin.
So it's a lot of coin. It's on track to outperform gold, as a vital digital asset. And so, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP are the four big ones that most traders are trying to put into their portfolio, have been keeping an eye on. I had Ethereum for a while. I sold it when it was at an all-time high. So I'm still just holding on to Bitcoin and Dogecoin and kind of riding those gains. But what I would tell people is it's still not too late to get on Bitcoin. Bitcoin basically is the new gold standard of crypto digital currency. Right? Whereas some of these other off cryptos are just kind of meme coins, if you will. You can still make money there, of course, but you have a better hold if you want to diversify your portfolio by purchasing Bitcoin and maybe dollar cost averaging. If you buy it high and it dips, you buy it again. It's all the shit you've heard me talk about for years, right? So really, it's about, do you want to sell? And what I would say to that is sell your profits, leave your original investment, right? If you want to sell, secure your profits and leave that original investment.
Yeah.
And then just let that keep building you more profit.
I just with all this happening, I really feel like the top of like the people who make things happen, like this is all part of the plan. Like it crashed several weeks ago, like a month ago. Everyone can buy in now, and then now it's starting to go up. Like it's almost predictable that this is happening like this.
Well, regardless of what it is, I mean, it's about market timing and getting in and making yourself money, right? Because that's why I open up with that. Whether you believe what people are doing with it or whether it's manipulated, some people say they use it for bad things on the black web. I don't care about any of that. I'm just riding the percentage gains and making money for myself on it, right? Yeah, dude. Just like a stock price, it's very similar to what the stock market does. Only it trades 24/7. You don't have to wait between the hours of 9:30.
For crypto,
it's 24/7 trading. You can buy it and sell it anytime. You don't have to wait for the stock market to open, right? So that's my crypto update. We haven't talked a little finance in a while. So
it has been a little bit.
A little crypto update for y'all.
It has been a little bit. That's an area of weakness of mine. Well,
it's not a weakness. You just don't know a lot about it. It's not a weakness.
Well, it's an area where I have not worked to become more educated, which could be a weakness.
I don't know how to do heart surgery. Does that mean I'm heart weak?
I don't know.
I
guess.
I
hope not. Let's keep that thing healthy.
Oh no, my heart's healthy as a horse.
I could get more into to finances. I've been kind of on my way coming back as far as like the old me. So definitely something that I'm going to keep paying attention to, and like I need to get in eventually. And I'm not going to have FOMO for not doing it now. I'm just going to say it like that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other things you can invest in, not just Bitcoin. But for all you crypto traders out there, HODL, baby.
Yeah, keep holding on to that bad boy. Well, that's what we got for the articles. What we're getting into this weekend, for me personally, this is one for me, is I only want to eat till I'm 80% full. Too often do I overfill my stomach beyond its capacity or at its full capacity, and I never feel good when I do that. So I'm trying to eat only 80% of being full.
I think that's a good thing to go into a weekend where people usually overindulge. They drink too much, they eat too much, whatever. 80%, I think, is a safe bet to go into, because then you're already being like, you know what? I had a hamburger, I had a hot dog, I'm good. I don't need that second round. I don't need the potato salad, right? Yeah. Kind of manage
or the second hot dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Or another burger. Because honestly, I want 2 burgers and a hot dog, and I want the chips, and like maybe wash it down with something cold.
Don't forget a nice pickle spear.
A nice pickle spear.
You got to have one of the big Colossians.
I mean, the pickles are going on the burger.
Pickles are on the burger. I get the pickle on the side. I want it all. Okay. Another thing you could do is put up your porch canopy, right? It's that time of year where the pools are opening up, the outdoor activities. Like I was telling you off mic, back home, a lot of people take that shit down because the snow would cave it in. Put that thing up, get your porch nice and covered, get the grill ready, get it cleaned up, get your summer ready. That's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, get your summer ready. After you ate 80%, you got that canopy out and you were in the shade all day, time to go to a concert. There's a bunch of concerts out there. Whatever type of music you like, I guarantee you there's a show. Just check it out.
I'll be at Dope Lemon next Thursday. So before next Happy Friday, I'm going to go see Dope Lemon here in Denver.
Nice.
So that's pretty exciting. And then, of course, it's the biggest race day of the year. Okay, on Sunday. We start with F1 in Monaco, big race. Then we go to the Indianapolis 500. It's the 109th running of it. Big deal. Kyle Larson's going to be running that with a program to have Kyle run the double again. He tried it last year, but it rained, so he wasn't able to do the double. So he's going to try to finish the Indy 500, fly down to Charlotte, North Carolina to run NASCAR's longest race of the year, the Coca-Cola 600.
He'll get it this year.
600 miles of racing, Art. That's a lot. If he does both, that's 1,100 miles of racing in one day.
Wow.
Behind the wheel. So it's going to be a great weekend. I got Pretty Girl in town. Crystal's back, my sweetie. I'm going to pick her up here in a few hours. Yep. So you'll get the chance to visit with her on Sunday if you make it to my little get-together.
I'm going to be there.
So it's going to be fun. America, keep it safe this weekend. Please be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Have your fun. Eat your hot dogs, 80%. Be careful now. But of course, it's Friday. It's the weekend. Let's go, Fricashinas.